Ladies and gentlemen, it is a slightly cloudy, becoming a little overcast. It's getting a little gusty out there kind of day, and I hope that you guys are having a nice one out there. Honestly, the weather is nice. You just got to get it before it starts to rain. We are listening to a little bit of Lunatic Soul. We listened to a track from them earlier here on the channel, just out of my own curiosity, and now we're going to return with this track, Gutter. This is coming off of the album Walking on a Flashlight Beam, fourth studio album from Lunatic Soul, released in 2014. We're listening to this because this was suggested and sponsored by Michael. Michael, thank you so much for the recommendation. Thank you so much for the support as well. I truly appreciate that. I remember hearing, I don't know how long it's been now, probably a month or so, how Riverside basically is, for lack of a better word, on indefinite hiatus, which it's always disappointing to hear, but life happens, and you move on from there. But Lunatic Soul, this is of course going to be the solo project from, I mispronounce his name sometimes, but Marius Duda here, the bassist from Riverside and vocalist. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the track. We'll discuss it a little bit after. The title of the album, Walking on a Flashlight Beam, reminds me of that, is it from Batman Killing Joke, when Batman and Joker are talking, and it's like the one moment that they have a kind of heartfelt, heart-to-heart conversation, and Joker says, there was this story of, two prisoners escaping, and one was going to hold out the flashlight for the other, and then it's a cool little moment. Anyways, Gutter, here we go. Sorry. It's a promising start. You groove on the bass, it changes too. was coming, but it's coming. That's a 5 out of 5 track. This was brilliant. This was great the whole way through. There's a few things that I'm going to mention, okay? Let me bring you into my world for a second. Let me bring you into some of what JP likes every once in a while. Can I say one thing I loved about this? I'm going to pull up to like about the middle section here, which is like all build up and instrumental, right? There is a tension. I don't have anything I could get some chapstick here. There's a tension that is constantly held on the song, trying to like not break it, but it's adding a little bit of a stress onto it, right? And it feels like it's gonna snap. And a lot of times when you're listening to music in this vein, and it could be in any genre, it doesn't have to be in this specific genre, but when it's getting to that tension, there's that breaking point where the music releases. All of a sudden we get the big distorted guitar riffs, we get a big breakdown. Those are great. Listen, those are cathartic climaxes, and they are very satisfying to listen to. No doubt about that. And I'm sure if it came in here, it would have been great. It would have been really nice. Can I tell you what I really appreciated about it, though? We never got that. It never built up into some big explosion of, like I said, a big chords of distorted guitar and like maybe a big solo or something, and maybe going to a more heavier metal kind of route. I enjoy that, but I like that this didn't do that. And so it made it not so predictable. It made it not so obvious where it was going. Instead, it just stuck around in that instrumental section and played around in there for a little bit, adding a lot of ambience, letting the drums just kind of trance-like inducing pulse behind it and building up around that. I like that. I like how from beginning to end, we stayed within a space and actually explored every single inch of that space. We didn't come out and do all this over here or go over here. We stayed right here and just explored in here. You know, restriction can sometimes lead to more creativity in whatever facet that might be. Painting, sculpture, music. The limitations can make you think outside the box. And so I like how this was limited but exploratory in its own way. This is a great track. So, Duda, unless I'm mistaken, he's the bassist from Riverside. I know he does a lot of other things here. He does everything except the drums. But I love how the bass is so strong, present, and almost more of a lead vocalist in a way than even he is. And I love his vocals here, just filled with atmosphere and this ethereal nature that kind of wafts through the air. Reminds me a little bit of Einar from like Leprous, or even in some ways Sleep Token as well. Kind of hitting that particular ambience, especially when he goes into those falsetto notes, which are just ghostly in the most gorgeously haunting way. But the bass is kind of the main character in this show. And from beginning to end, it is always present in some capacity. I like how in the first, build up or so, the first minute or so, we get the bass line, and it's kind of spooky, but it moves really nicely. And then as we move into, I guess you could say, the chorus of it, or after that, there's a little bit more movement to it. There's a little bit more of a fluidity to it. And then it backs itself back down into something more ritualistic. And then it goes back and forth from there until we get to the long instrumental section, in which it begins to kind of snake its way into certain contortions and never taking away from the sphere, never coming out of that. I think that this was just fantastic. I think that this was sensational. I love the mood it sets, and I like how we stay in this mood for 8 minutes or so. You know, sometimes when you listen to a song and there's a part that you really like, let's just pretend it's a solo or an instrumental break, and you're like, man, it was here for like 30 seconds. That could have gone on. This is him providing that going on. This is that. And of course, even more impressive is that he's handling everything in here, except, like I said, the drums. This was a 8 minutes, almost 9, of ritualistic beauty. This section here, as his guitar just kind of moans through here like a wandering spirit. I like how the intensity comes from the exploration in the sphere of the track rather than blatant and obvious things such as, like I said, kind of leading into something more predictable. I think that this is a phenomenal track here. Let's look at the lyrics. They crawl out from the dark, permeate through my door, float in the hallways, slowly blend into the walls. In the shadow of my grief, I can hear whispered sounds, feel a cold breath on my skin. Here they come to assert their rights. The fear is what I need to believe. The fear is what I need to feel. So I dragged myself into this gutter of mine, where shades of gray feed on my soul. So I view this as grief. I mean, he says, in the shadow of my grief. So I'm going to read this as a horror film. He's grieving some traumatic loss, and it's almost like this spirit, this ghost is, trying to haunt him and assert its rights upon him. And the fear that he has is what he needs to believe and what he needs to feel something, because he's finding himself in the gutter, in the lowliest of places. I crave to commit my words to the book of stifled cries. I fell down so long ago, I don't remember now. And so I dragged myself into this gutter of mine where shades of gray feed on my soul. He's found himself in this particular place. He says he dragged himself there, but he's also kind of being dragged there in a particular sense. I think that this is just basically, if I could succinctly summarize this, I would say it's being haunted by grief, perhaps, based off the lyrics. This was really good. That's what I gotta say. This was really good. You let me know though. Was it good for you? It was good for me. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate you all spending some time here. Michael, thank you so much for the suggestion. Really great track. And I hope that you had a good time. Thank you for being here. Come back again tomorrow, and I will see you all then. Bye, guys.